When you have practiced serging enough and you feel ready to start serging your project, pick a serger, turn on the light, and we'll start with your strap. So separate it. You're not going to serge the two pieces together. You'll serge one at a time. Start on the small side. Line it up on the edge of the fabric by the edge of the serger. Make sure you have a tail. Press on the foot pedal. Allow the serger to pull the fabric through, cutting off no more than 1 centimeter. Don't pull or yank on the fabric. Allow the serger to do the pulling. Continue serging extra, and when you get to the edge, cut the middle of the tail so that you have a 5 centimeter tail on the fabric and also one at the serger. And then do the next side. You're going to serge every side of every piece, with a few exceptions. So really take your time on this long part of the strap. It's very easy to cut too much off. You have to really try to hold it steady. The machine doing the pulling, your hands very gently doing the guiding. And I find it myself most comfortable with one hand holding the fabric here and the other hand guiding the fabric up at the top. So the fabric is not moving very much other than what the serger is doing to it, pulling it, but it's not moving side to side. It's staying pretty steady. And that way I can control how much I cut off. I do want to cut off a little bit, because if I serge too far away, I'll miss it and it won't be serged at all. So cutting off just a little bit, about this much, is ideal. Serge to the end and then keep going. But don't do this on the regular sewing machine. You can serge without fabric on a serger. You can't sew without fabric on a sewing machine. And cut a tail. So continue both straps in this way. And when you're done the straps, you can start the bag. The two parts you won't serge on the bag are the cutout corners. It's just much too hard to be accurate. You'll end up cutting into your fabric. So do not serge the cutout corners, but you can serge all the other sides. The fabric at the edge, cutting off no more than 1 centimeter. And be careful when you have a bigger piece. Sometimes, unbeknownst to you, the fabric folds underneath and comes under and can actually get cut. So always make sure you have one layer of fabric that is serging. So just be conscious of that. Check underneath. Make sure, especially when serging big pieces, that you don't have it get caught underneath. Stop and check. And again, don't yank on these threads or you're going to unthread the serger. So serge all sides except the cutout corners of both of your bags. Again, not serging them together. And it doesn't matter if you serge it bad side or wrong side up or good side up. And the color doesn't really matter because all serging will be hidden on the inside. When you get to the boxers or the pajama pants, do all the straight sides of that piece first and do the curve last. And when you do the curve, start on the straight side of the curve, not the curvy side of the curve. Line up the fabric. And the first part should be pretty straightforward. But as you get close to the curve, if you change nothing, you're going to cut the fabric right off. So you have to pull the fabric and keep it, no matter the shape, against this edge. And again, watching underneath that something doesn't come up and get caught, that you're only serging this one layer. And continue serging so that you can have a tail on both the fabric and the serger. So I basically stretched it to serge it just a bit, and then the curve just pops back in when you're finished. So do those at the end because they are the more challenging things to serge. And when you're finished, every side of every piece should be serged except the cutout corners, and then you should go steam all the pieces, and then we're going to either trim the tails to 2 centimeters or put a mat on the table, apply fray check to the tail only, trying not to get the fabric wet, allow them to dry, and then you can cut them right off. So you'll steam all your pieces, and you can have them together and steam one side and then flip them over and steam the other. Or you can separate them, and it doesn't matter if you have good side up or wrong side up. But while you're pressing, try to pull the tails out so that it makes it easier afterward when you go to fray check them. To fray check your pieces, you'll put a plastic mat on the table to protect it. You'll take the cover off the fray check, and you'll notice they have a pin inside. That's to keep the hole open. So pull the pin out. And then it is easier to fray check if you have your pieces together. That way you can do the two tails at one time. So take the bottle, put your finger underneath the tail, and just put a little dab of fray check on the tail. Blot it with your fingers, and then do the next one. And once the fray check is on, it's all right for that piece to go on the table. So you can do the other two, and then move it aside. You just want the mat underneath while you're applying the fray check, so that if it spills, it doesn't go on the table. And again, try not to get the fabric itself wet. Just get the tail wet right where it meets the fabric. Do all the tails of all the pieces, allow them to dry, and then using your black scissors, cut the tails off. Please don't use the silver scissors. We want to keep those really clean and sharp for just cutting fabric.